Everybody, and welcome back to the program. Yes, it's Chat Havers. Let's make a conversation. With us tonight, Big Howell Dottie in the motherfucking house. How are you, dude?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so thankful to be back doing what I love, with technical advances that I'm familiar with. They won't,
Yeah.
This. I don't know if you knew this, but the computer will fucking fuck you.
Yeah.
It will fuck you.
First chance it gets. When it smells that you're having any trouble at all, the computer will fuck you.
There's this world out there, and it wants you to be sucked into, and this scrolling. Thank you, Kato. Holly Luke Shapes was good. Thank you. It's great to have you on the program, man. I like my favorite part of this is there's something very, and I know you're also, you work in podcasts as well, so I'm sure you'll be familiar with this. I just think it's always really funny, that moment where we both decide to act like we haven't been talking to each other for the last 20 minutes. It's a very.
I was thinking about that as well.
It was just it's almost
saying, how you doing, man?
Hey,
what's
man.
up?
Yeah.
Hey.
As if like we both appeared in this space at the same time immediately.
Yeah.
Where the hell's the couch? Robbie, it is in the shed right now because I didn't want to bring it out because I didn't need to tonight. Well, because Hal doesn't need a couch because he's a beautiful remote guest.
Yep.
But you wish you had the couch, man. I wish you could be here.
The remotest of guests.
Remotest. Where are you located?
I'm in Kentucky.
Nice. Louisville,
Kentucky. Yep, that's right.
Nice.
Toot to the chat.
Toot to the chat. I like toot because I've tried to get a couple of catchphrases going, but then I forget about them, and then I have emotes for several catchphrases that I then don't ever use, so that's like, why are they there? Yeah. Luke.
Yeah. Toot just start when Possum and I were doing Big Howl and Possum as a live show. It was like whenever we would really want to drive home a joke, we would say toot right after it, and then I would like strum a couple of chords on a guitar. But it just stayed. It stayed as a part of the stream. We definitely tried to find other things that could have a similar thing. We had Who Boy, but Who Boy didn't take off as much as Toot did.
Toot. It's sort of like, have you ever seen that Def Jam comic Hamburger, where he's like a catchphrase comic, and it's really worth a watch because he literally at the end of every joke just goes hamburger, and you don't know, you're like, well, that doesn't sound very funny. You watch it, you're like, this guy, it's fun. It literally is funny as fuck. He's just like hamburger. And he just funny. Punctuates every joke with it, and you're like, well, it does make it funnier. He kills it. He crushes it. Hamburger.
That's awesome. There's a comic around these parts, who in between every joke or bit, he just his segue from everything to everything is he goes, any old way. He does that every single time. Any old way.
Do you think it's intentional, or do you think it's a weird tick that he's developed from saying it too much on stage or something?
I probably started as just something he said. I think it started as a tick. It became it's very intentional now. It's definitely like it's the most memorable I've heard. It's the most memorable thing from some of his sets.
Yeah, nothing like being a guy in a comedy scene, and the thing people remember you for is the weird thing you say at the end of every
Yeah,
joke.
right.
uh, did you ever do stand up? Is that in your life, how or no?
I mean, uh, I've mostly done like live. What would you call it? Like doing a live show
Yeah,
where you are like where I'm either with Possum or I'm with a guest or
yeah.
something like that. I don't know if that I no, that's not stand up. So, but I have done stand up a few times, and I do music. I do musical
You
comedy
do
on my own
musical
all the
comedy.
time.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
do. Yeah, I do. I used to perform on stage all the time. I haven't gotten as back into it since COVID as I
Sure.
would like to, but
Kind of same. I mean, that's kind of what prompted
yeah,
me doing this stuff because I'd like did it nonstop for so many years of my life, and then I was like, well,
yeah.
what else do I like doing? And I found this beautiful, beautiful website, where anything is
Hey,
possible.
it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
You don't have to leave the house, and I mean, around here, I get a bigger audience if I go live on Twitch than I would if I booked a show. So
I mean, I feel the same way, dog. Yeah. I live in
yeah,
goddamn Los Angeles. Why would you see my alternative sketch group where you could see, a real famous person with credits that's been on TV a ton of times? And you're like, yep,
yeah,
that's the way it is, baby. But that's Hollywood, and we have to respect it.
yeah.
We have to respect Hollywood.
There's so many rungs to climb
Yeah.
out that way,
And I can't
Luke.
wait to climb them.
It's
So
yeah.
excited.
Little trick I've read about,
Uh-huh.
reading about celebs and their way up to the top. Here's a trick for you.
Okay.
When you get up to the next rung of that ladder, reach down, break that rung underneath you. Just knock it out with a hammer. Just get rid of it. Make sure nobody can follow you on the
I
way up.
that's what because I'm our comedian's gonna figure out I got kind of like a good thing on Twitch going, and anytime anyone asks, I go, oh no, it's you don't
You
get it sucks. I
you don't
hate
wanna
doing
do
it.
it.
I should have stayed what you're doing. Like don't do this. Don't come here. No, no, no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I want the
Yeah, oh
treasures.
god, that when a
Huh.
bunch of hot, famous, and also genuinely funny people join this site, we are finished. We're cooked. We're
Yeah.
done.
Because if
Done for.
anything, doing the game show last night showed me it could completely fuck up. But it's like I feel like I have on this website is there's a in a very nice way. There's a feeling of well, at least you tried, and we're really
Yeah.
excited to see that
Oh,
boost my
I
game.
have posted on that so much over the past few years myself, just people being like, "Well, this is good enough. This is good enough
Yeah,
for me to
yeah,
watch it."
this is great. How's that side up with a gun? I feel like that. I'm looking at the levels. It looks good. Um, I love the way y'all fucked up and recovered and fucked up. It was fun. I mean, I'm gonna do it again. How I'd love to have you on it
Oh, I
sometime.
would love to I'd
Hollywood
love to be on
Shapes. Yeah.
Holly Luke Shapes.
Is it? What is the point of this fucking website if not to host your own goddamn game show? Isn't that why we're all here?
I mean, yeah, I had a game show for a little while called The Order,
Okay.
where I had JF and Stefan on it years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so The Order it started as a show where I was just gonna rank everything in the world,
Uh huh.
right? Like
Okay.
I just every night I would start with like 10 things and I would figure out and I was going to make this like infinitely long
Uh
list
huh.
where everything was ranked, right? And I just like I just was not the guy to present that thing. Like I just knew pretty soon that that was not that concept. I could not sell that as well as somebody else could. So I
But in
turned it
what way? Because I really like that concept. Thank you, Freak Scene. Welcome back,
I
Ryan.
like the concept too. I don't know, it felt like I was doing the same thing over and over and over again. And listen, maybe if I had more people watching me back then when I did it,
Yeah.
maybe it would have been more fun. But it was like, I don't know, it was 12, 15 people watching me just say, "Oh, and then this movie, is it better than ice cream?" Or what, like
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
it felt like I was doing the same joke over and over again. So
Yeah.
what I sort of pivoted into, I made it into a game show where I had people come on and the chat would vote. The chat would do like a sort of a Family Feud esque thing where
Mm.
they would rank like, let's see. Okay, so I had JF on to
Mm-hmm.
rank the best like stock Twitter replies. Like that's a mirror. Uh, um, this is Wendy's.
Yeah,
Sir,
yeah.
this is Wendy's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like any of those things that you
This
that
is
you would
fine.
say to
I'm
somebody,
fine.
just
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And we had the chat rank them in order, and then I had JF come on and say what his order for them was. And then if the chat disagreed with him, they got to break his arms and legs in order. I had a little like graphic of
Uh-huh.
of his body there. And they would like for everyone that he got wrong, it would like snap his arms and snap his legs.
Almost like a
Um Hangman type
yeah, hangman.
situation.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, hangman.
yeah.
So yeah, and I've thought a lot about bringing that back and doing some type of thing like that again. I would love to because I do a game show stream. I love game shows.
Yeah.
Um,
That's fun,
and
dude. I love that idea. And I really like because something I was thinking of with this is just that's why I liked having the contestants themselves be chat because I'm like, well, that's the fun thing is there's live like
yeah,
I that is very cool. Yeah, I really like that idea of that you're doing Family Feud, but you're like doing it against a people that you kind of know their thing, so you feel like you have
yeah,
because I love Family Feud, but it was but it is you're just like, yeah, we asked 100 dipshits at a like mall in Burbank like what their favorite like way to please their man is. It's always like insane,
Family Feud's a fucking mess.
I
It is
love
like
it though. It's
so messy. It's
it
so
barely
messy
works as a game. It's so
yeah,
crazy.
the rules of the game are insane, and then
Yeah.
also the surveys. They're literally just asking any idiot at a mall. So the
Yeah.
surveys are built on like not good or smart opinions.
Right.
And then the judges have the most crazy like range of either giving you like a ton of leeway on what you
Yes.
guessed or give or basically like just you said the wrong word and you don't get it. Like
Yeah.
it feels so arbitrary, that show.
Yeah.
No matter who's hosting it, it's a complete mess. So it
Yeah.
like depends on who the host is.
But you
But
know what? You got it. I mean, Steve Harvey does fucking bring it. You do. When I watch it up there, I say it's one of those rare times where you see a man do what he's born to do, which is mug to camera when someone says the word "come."
yeah, yeah, I think Steve Harvey probably was born to host Family Feud. Yeah,
I
I love the Louis Anderson Family Feud,
yeah, yeah,
but part of that is because you can tell that he like doesn't really want to do this. Doesn't really want to do that
yeah,
show.
yeah. That's always
And
fun when you
it's
see it.
funny. He's so funny, and it's funny to watch a guy who's funny do something he doesn't want to do.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Steve Harvey definitely wants to do Family Feud. I say he really enjoys, seems to love it every moment.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you gotta respect. If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And for him, it's you said what, and then it's just a woman saying like answering the question that they gave her that is the most obvious
yeah.
answer. That it's like
Name a place a fella can put his willy, and then she's like, my mouth. And Steve Harvey's like, I've never heard of this
the
before.
hell, yeah.
What?
Welcome, peasant mindset. Well, folks, we're taking calls on Discord tonight. If you wanna get on the horn, and you head to the caller waiting room, and I'll throw you in the call zone, a secret channel. Ooh, secret channel. Looks
Wow.
like we have a call in there already. Would you like to take a call, Howell?
Yes. Oh, I'd love that.
Let's do it. Let's take a call. Hello, caller. You're on the air. What's your name? What are you calling about?
Hi, I'm Jacob.
Jacob, how are you?
Calling from Nolans.
Hey, Jacob.
The Big Easy.
Yes, it's very big, very easy. So I don't know much about organ repair. My godmother was the organist at the church I grew up going to. So she was my real godmother.
Right.
She was really helping you learn how to be Christian. Like, really, she was doing what they're meant to do.
Yes, quite. But on the subject of
did she ever let you sit next to her on the organ bench?
yes,
Pulled out
I
the
could.
stops and stuff?
That sounds fun.
Oh yeah, and it was very interesting, but also very intimidating because it is a very big piece of equipment. I felt like I could break it, even though I was a very small child.
Yeah,
So
I used to get to when I was a kid, I would go up for communion. We were Episcopalian, and we were close friends with the organist
Lutheran,
at the church. And I would
Lutheran on my side.
I would get communion, and I would go and sit next to the organist on the bench for the rest of the service, and I liked it. I liked watching
And they would
I liked
just
watching
play
them
the
play. And they
and they would just play the entertainer over and over.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and this is interesting. You said that, Hal, because I went to Episcopalian school till I was about 18. Like I was basically raised
Really?
Episcopalian despite being Jewish, but like that's the religion I truly know. And it's funny because
Mhm.
they would always play the entertainer nonstop from the second we sat down in chapel to the second we left. They would.
Oh my god!
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
fucked up religion, but that's that's part of it. That's part of it.
Well,
Well,
I mean,
I find
Episcopals.
about the 5th time through on the entertainer, I feel like I'm close to God. I can feel the
Yes.
warmth of God
Yeah.
sort of all over me.
It's like with
But
snake
there was
handling, with snake handling, like part of it is they're playing the tones and that like calms the snakes down, right? And keeps them kind of
Yes.
placid. That's the same thing that happens to me when I hear the entertainer over and over done by a church organ. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There was apparently one time where I put my foot down on the low C pedal during and just my foot rested there. And apparently I was playing a note, and this was like a thing where she like made fun of me afterwards because I was like playing this long drone note on the lowest C on the pedal.
Getting more Catholic there.
And I ruined the entertainer for everybody.
Yeah, that is not, dude. A low C is not in the entertainer. Even I know that.
Also about just game shows. When you brought up as a love of game shows, there is a documentary I watched that the Game Show Network put out years ago when Peter Tamarkin was still alive about the guy who cheated Press Your Luck.
I think I've watched that.
What is? I don't know this.
I've watched.
Cheated? He didn't cheat.
He found out. Found out the algorithms. Well, there were so many like different ways that the patterns. It was not random. They made it look random, but it was not. But he found 3 or 4 spaces that never had something that would give you a negative result.
Damn.
And he memorized, I don't know how many, 7 or 8 of these things, and like would have to know.
It so he would never get a whammy or whatever. So
no whammies.
Right,
That's the no whammies show.
Yes, Press Your Luck is the no whammies show.
No whammies.
Yes, so he could not get a whammy. He couldn't like lose turns. He could. He was only gaining turns and getting a huge amount of money.
Whoa.
And it is something that I have watched so many times. It's just like, and I don't know if you're going to be disappointed if I spoil a Game Show Network documentary from years ago, but he basically blew all his money on scratch offs and trying to get like getting rolls of coins to try to find rare ones that had accidentally been put into circulation.
Huh. That makes sense, though. That tracks because I do think it's like that's actually the same impulse. You know what I mean? That's like it's like I'm sitting there, I'm literally slackjawed watching like Press Your Luck, like boop, 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 and then I'm also like looking through coins. Like that is the same kind of guy, you know?
No, it absolutely. I mean, it is a very interesting thing. I think the whole thing is on YouTube.
It is on YouTube. I watched it on YouTube. So but I can't. The thing I can't remember was this in the era when he could have watched them on tape and rewound them, or was this when? Do you remember? Did he solely do this watching it live on TV, or watching it on TV?
No, I believe he taped it because he like the setup is so that he would obsessively watch TV game shows to try to figure out a way to never lose.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
when
wow.
he obsessively watched Press Your Luck, he figured it out.
So he started with the with the goal. I thought he maybe noticed the pattern first and then was like, all right, well, I'm going on.
No,
Going
it
on
was
this
like
show.
he was always in get rich quick schemes. And
Wow.
then this was just an idea he had, like, maybe I can figure out something on TV. I have access to this.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And even though I've told you a lot about it, it is still worth the watch.
Yeah. Is he and did he get in trouble, or was it one of those things? I mean, he can't really be in trouble if it's like he figured out an
No,
algorithm.
they tried to, like, say that he didn't do it right or whatever. He stuck by his story.
I thought they had to just straight up give it to him because like he didn't break any rules.
They did.
Yeah.
They took him to the back room for a long time and tried to make him admit something, but he did it. He just did. He figured it out. He played by the rules. There was no actual rule about not figuring that out, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Robbie says,
yeah, I mean,
figured out the patterns
if their thing's not random, it's sort of their fault, right?
Right.
Right.
It's like that they just thought like, oh, these dumbass yokels that play the show will never figure out this algorithm, you know? I mean, it's just
but also
coastal elite.
in the time when that show was out, though, it was hard to make a random number generator. Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
One that's like truly random. Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you're like, oh, we could hire some nerd to write an algorithm. Robbie says, I figured out the patterns on The Bachelor that let me fuck The Bachelor every time. And I think
Wow.
that's a really nice sentiment.
Yeah.
Jacob, can I ask you something? Why do they call it the Big Easy? I've never known this.
I don't know. Fucking nothing is easy here. No, I do not believe that. I mean, I guess because you can drink on the street. Besides that, most of the drivers are drunk or do not have a license.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is not just normal complaining about traffic. I am in fear for my life every time I have to go from one place to another in a car.
It was when I was down there a couple of months ago, and I never see people that just like clearly the like unspoken rule is like if there's no one around, you don't have to stop at a stoplight. Like it was just like you stop, and then if there's no one there, like what are you gonna do? Wait for it to be green? And I saw people do that literally dozens of times. It was so crazy to me.
Yeah, it was easy for them. It was big and easy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's maybe that's what it means. There's no traffic rules if no one's around. So it's the Big Easy.
Big Easy.
I was down there. I was down there a couple months ago as well.
Really?
And we went on a tour of one or two cemeteries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what's not easy down there is getting buried. It's not easy at all.
No,
because they don't put you in the fucking crypts, right? Because
they put you in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're below sea level, so they'll just float right up.
Yeah.
They put you in a box, they seal it up, and then the guy doing the tour was like, and you're basically in an oven now. And I was like, Jesus Christ, okay. You're in an oven with a bunch of other dead bodies. And then like a year and a day or something later, they open it up and they shove your bones back to the back of the box to like a little ashtray back there. And then that's where you spend the rest of eternity.
And then what? And then the rest of the box, they like make the box smaller, or is there just a bunch of empty box?
No, there are like stick somebody else in there.
Yeah, there are some like very well-to-do people who have their own mausoleum, but then most of them are just like pretty much safety deposit boxes for your bones.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you guys this, because this is a sort of thing that I have wondered about, and I've never really quite understood. And it's this almost sounds like a high idea, but follow me on this. So, billions of people have existed throughout time, right? Human beings. We've had burial rights for most of our civilization. I guess, is there a reason there aren't graveyards everywhere? It feels like there must be an obvious answer to this, but I just don't know. It's like there's so many people have died, and yet there's not that many graveyards, right? Like,
I mean, I've seen a lot of graveyards. I don't know. It seems.
But compared to how many people there are, seriously, I mean, I feel like okay. How is that? Is the levels better now? Is that better?
Well, I mean, I can hear you fine, but I'm on the phone.
Yeah. I think that's because you're on Discord. I think it's okay. That should be good. Okay, yeah. But come on. I mean, right?
No. I mean, I just think that the tombstones, go out at some point. They were putting you in pine boxes. Those are biodegradable.
Yeah, it's pretty weird to me that I guess I've always thought of a cemetery as being like a permanent resting place where people will be able to come see something it says your name on it forever.
Right.
And that's like that's how you pitch a cemetery to somebody. That's the elevator pitch.
That's why you're spending all the goddamn money on that headstone,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's why it costs so much. But but in reality, if you go to one that's more than like 200 years old, the names are washed off because they used limestone for the tombstones, and so the names have washed off. There's grass growing everywhere that isn't perpetually taken care of, which you can pay for in New Orleans. You can pay for perpetual care, but like even that, it's like there's perpetual care, but the weather will also ruin some things that have perpetual care as well.
And you know what? We also are, I mean, I think about it, I was like, well, I never really see them before the 1800s. I'm like, right, but that's also because we're in a country that didn't exist until obviously all the gravestones from like Jamestown and shit are all gone. And then, and I wonder maybe it is if you go to Europe, you'll see it'll be, but then even then I'm like, well, that makes sense.
Maybe they were making them out of bronze or something, but I have a pitch for graves.
Okay.
Since
I'm excited to hear this.
I'd love to punch up graves.
Yeah, well, so we're human beings are on a crash course to extinction. I mean, maybe not within our lifetimes, but I think it would be nice to just for future generations for us to go ahead and bury ourselves in mass graves so they have oils. They'll have some fossil fuels.
Okay. I mean, but that's kind of a bet on about 500,000 years, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, what is that in terms of the universe,
Right.
I think we could figure out how to make ourselves oil a little faster. I think we could probably put our minds to this.
Big mass graves.
We just need to get George Washington Carver in on this, and he can figure out some.
I think we squeeze everybody who dies. We squeeze them through a little tube. Into a box that's. I mean, maybe we'll learn something from New Orleans and just have that box sit out in the sun for a year and a day, and everybody cooks into something. And then you compress it down until the people goo comes out.
Yeah.
Right. And then you power a car on that.
It's like the Fremen in Dune. I mean, they're like you getting your damn shit sucked when you die. You know what I mean? They're taking that shit back. They need that water.
Yeah.
I thought it was bullshit. Did you guys see Dune Part 2?
I have, and I loved it.
I thought it was bullshit. They had a big thing of water they wouldn't touch. I mean, what the fuck? Your whole goddamn life is surrounded by water. Like, I understand it was a religious thing, but it was fucking bullshit. Sorry.
That is a frustrating thing to see in that movie where you're like, now wait a minute.
Yes, especially what happens later.
Yeah, it wasn't your whole goddamn. It was holy. Yeah, I know it was holy, man. But I guess that I know that that's the point, and it's like, oh, it's like that's the incongruousness of this religion, but they spent fucking 2 goddamn movies having Javier Bardem be like, do not waste your water, and then
it is a very sketchy thing, I think, because one, who is deciding that nobody touches that water? Like, is that something where every day they have a vote and the thirstiest people are like, yeah, I don't want to touch it? Because if not, think about Mad Max Fury Road. Like, if the guy, what's his name in Mad Max Fury Road, the big bad guy,
Skull guy.
Yeah, what is
Skull guy? Skull fucker.
Yeah.
If that guy had just been like, oh, it's a religion. The ancient elders said that I get to keep this water and you don't get to have any. And Morton Joe, thank you. I get to keep all this water and you don't get to have it. Then that's essentially the same thing that the Fremen are doing.
Yeah, right. And that's kind of how Morton Joe. I love a Morton Joe, man. I mean, that's a they should have, man. They gotta do a crossover where the Fremen and a Morton Joe team up, man.
Yeah.
Now that would
To
be cool.
preserve the holiest water, only the holiest water.
All right, Jacob, we'll let you go. Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Thanks, Jacob. Nice talking to you.
See ya.
God, I mean, that would be cool. Thinking about the sketches Mad TV would have done about Dune if it came out in 2002. Yeah, that would have been good. A Morton Joe in Fortnite. I'm surprised they don't have a Mad Max skin in Fortnite yet, but hopefully we'll get a Furiosa one. How are you excited for Furiosa?
I'm looking forward to Furiosa. I think, I'm trying to think if I've even seen a trailer for it. Is there a trailer out for it?
There is.
I think there is, right?
And I think it looks pretty good. I'm not a big I would call myself an Anna Taylor-Joy skeptic, but
ooh, okay.
I'm a George Miller head, and I think Mad Max Fury Road is the like best possible. It is like the golden example of you can come if you let the guy who knows how to make the series come back to it, he can make it really good with new technology, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I all the Mad Max movies are bangers to me. So, yeah.
Gain up a 10. Why is
I think you can count on that one to be really good.
Yeah, I think so as well. How's the gain now? Why am I so fucking low? See, this is what we were talking about. I just need like one guy, so I'm not just like, because I don't, with sound levels, it's like, well, I don't want to like blast it up, so I'm like trying to like, Anyway,
if it helps at all, I could turn down, and you could turn the whole thing up.
No, because I can see that I'm low. I actually know what to do. I think it's because of my. I think because I put a stupid compressor on my shit, and it sucks ass. Test. Hey, how's it going? Okay, there we go. That's part of the fun of this show is that every single show I get to audio test in real time, and that's kind of a fun kind of thing that we do with the chat.
That's like whenever I have audio issues on my stream, which fortunately, since I've got a different setup than I did for a long time, where I was just kind of guessing as to how everything sounded. I was just using the OBS like output or whatever, and it was fun. Everybody would always say, "Oh, it's like the Go Off Kings when you've got audio issues." And I'm like, everybody has audio issues. It's every stream
because you can't
has audio.
You can't monitor it. You can monitor the video shit. I mean, it's just inherently it's an uphill battle. All right, we got another call. Let's do this shit.
Yeah.
Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your name? What are you calling about?
What's up?
Krem, you're on the air.
Hello.
Sorry, my audio's a little fucked up here.
You're really low. Let me see if I can turn you up. You're extremely low, and this time it's not my fault.
Having audio issues kind of reminds me of the Go Off Kings.
Yeah. Krem, can we hear you?
Caller, step away from the radio.
Krem. Oh, he left. I think he's going to come back. Here, let's see. Thank you, Helios. Hello, Krem.
Am I now back?
There we go. That's much better.
This is so weird. I can't hear you guys from the fucking call at all. Maybe we'll just have the call from the... God damn it.
Hello? You can't hear us?
Can't hear us from Discord.
Well... Figure it out, dude, and call back. That ain't my problem. I suspect Luke might have just made himself way too loud. Yeah, that's possible. That is very possible. But that's kind of the fun. That's kind of the fun of the stream. That's a playback device, and yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, so we're I was very curious about this because it is a job that I learned that did you do it for a long time? The organ repair?
I did it for like 20 years.
Did you get into it through going to church and stuff growing up? Like how'd that happen?
Not as much as through like my family being friends with the organist at our church, but It wasn't like. But I did know people who played organs and worked on organs. But it's funny that line didn't lead anywhere. Like the guy that they knew didn't hire me, but he did mention another company, and then I worked for another company.
Gotcha. Is it hard to repair them? Is it hard?
Yes.
It feels like it is.
It is a very hard and thankless and often absurd job where you're doing something that nobody even knows exists.
Right.
Like people don't understand that there's like a room in there with a bunch of little gizmos in it, and they can all fail very badly. And it's a hard job, and I did it for a long time, but it was like I don't care that much about pipe organ music.
Right.
So there were times where I was really like, what am I doing? I don't care if this thing sounds good or not.
Yeah.
And no one cares if I'm here or not. Like I don't know.
They just wanted to fucking play the goddamn hymns. Get it working.
Yeah.
Pipe junkie. I mean, that could be something they called you, or I don't know. Pipe junkie. That kind of just sounds like a junkie.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody at some point trying to make pipe organ technicians and tuners seem cool. I wouldn't be surprised if some guy was like, "We're gonna call ourselves pipe jockeys. We're pipe jockeys. Hey, I may just be some low down dirty pipe jockey.
I've spent all weekend cleaning fucking pipes." Did you have to crawl around? I mean, that's the real question. Was there any crawl? There was, right?
Oh my God, I crawled around so much. And in Kentucky, an old church, if you're crawling around in an old church, you're getting like, you would get like old coal dust all over all of your, everything, all over your face, all over your.
You're looking like a Victorian child.
Yeah, it's a very messy job. It's a dirty job. There were birds die in pipe organs a lot, so you have to deal with dead birds and stuff, and that's really gross and disgusting. And sometimes you have to crawl through stuff that birds and animals have died in to get to things you have to do in pipe organs. I mean, it's a thing the size of a house, and it's 100 years old. And
Jesus Christ.
And the people who built it did not care how hard it was to climb the ladder to get into it or whatever. Like
because it's also like, I mean, it's a thing. If you made one now, you'd make it probably a lot different with just sort of the modern technology. I have to imagine.
I mean, some people, that was definitely a trend for much of the 20th century. I would say if you're still making pipe organs now, you're probably in such a niche market that you are making like really traditional style, because the only people still buying them, not the only people, but for the most part, it seems like the trend now is an old like tracker style organ, which is where it's literally a wooden track that runs from the key to the valve that opens the pipe. So it's like as old as the technology can be. But that's like the style that people want.
Now, we got a question here from the chat.
Want an actual pipe organ.
Ever seen and Peppercorn Patty, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while. Ever seen an American photo player IRL? I don't know what the fuck that means, but maybe you do. American
photo player. I don't know what that is off the top of my head.
All right. Well,
what is an American?
Seems like she made it up. Let's go back to the call. We'll get Krem back in here. Krem, can you hear us? Krem?
You've got to be kidding me. I still can't fucking hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay.
I'm done. Get me out of here.
This is like a theater organ or theater piano, like what Fred Willard played in that I Think You Should Leave.
Oh, yeah, with the gizmos and the goofs. Yeah.
Like with pulling the stuff. Okay, yeah. I've seen very similar stuff to that. Like I worked on a theater organ that had all the percussions and things.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't have the pulls and the like the little like squeeze ball and stuff. It was more like it had drums and mallet instruments that you operated from the keyboard, or from the manual, and the manual was on the console, which was way far away from all the.
Does that exist though? Like with the bloops and the blops? I mean, are there ones with like pulls and shit, or is that sort of like a joke?
These are how they used to score films. So those do exist, but like they would do like sound effects for the movies on the thing. So you'd have like a slide whistle sound for when somebody fell down in the movie. You know.
Sorry, one sec. I'm being told I'm very blown out. Yep. Yeah, I see it. Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh, it never ends, dude. It never fucking ends. And my last question is it one of those niche jobs that this is sorry if this is too personal. Does it pay well? Does it pay well? Fixing organs?
No.
Okay.
No.
I would think it would, because
not.
it'd be like one of those things where you're like, it's such a specific skill, but then I guess your clientele are mostly churches who know.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like it probably has a wide range, because there are probably some people who have figured out. I know there are some people who have figured out that they can do quality work for like only churches that are willing to pay for it.
Totally.
That was never I worked for like a service company for a long time that was like, they were really spread out. They had clients in like 9 states. I would spend 4 months of the year out on the road tuning pipe organs and stuff. And that was very much just like a grunt job. Like I was just going out as like a service guy,
a real pipe jockey.
Yeah, I was a real pipe jockey back in those days.
Covered in goddamn soot.
And then I left that job and worked for a guy who I liked working for a lot, but who really didn't. But who stayed very local and had a handful of really like clients he personally knew, and it really he probably didn't charge what he needed to charge, to really have a growing business. And so and I was, I liked working for him, and also felt a little like it was just a day job that I was just doing to pay the bills while I worked on other things.
Totally.
And so I didn't fight for a raise as hard as maybe I could have.
Well, let's try and bring Krem in here one more time. Well, it seems like he's left the queue. Krem, you blew it, man. I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, you're not even in the call waiting room anymore. What am I supposed to do now, man? Tisk fucking task, dude. All right. I see you. Hello, Krem, are you there?
I think I can hear you now.
You can't hear us?
I can actually hear you.
Oh, you can.
The audio.
Okay, great.
It was playing the audio through my new mic, which I was trying to show off. I was trying to debut on this show in front of the both of you, and that kind of blew up in my face multiple times, and your faces as well. So.
You were showing off that you got a new microphone.
Yeah, because you've basically been roasting me multiple times over the last couple times I've called in, because I sound like dog shit over my like earbuds.
Yes, that is true.
Well, so I was like, okay, I'll just buy a new mic, and then I didn't really troubleshoot that at all before right now.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah.
What kind of mic you get? What kind of mic you get?
It's an Audio Technica USB $50 microphone.
Okay.
And
it's pretty cool.
Better than those earbuds.
Do I sound good?
You sound great.
How are my levels, guys?
Your levels are great, and here's what
I've always wanted to say that.
How my levels? Your levels are great, man. You're coming in loud and clear. And I'd like to say I like the idea that I was mean enough to you about your sound quality that it caused you to like change something in your life and spend money in the real world.
Really like adjust my whole setup. Yeah, that really got to me in like a really personal way. So.
Right. You sound like shit because you are shit.
And then I kind of went to bed after the show and was like, I guess I'm nothing.
Kept calling you poor. Well, that's what it was. Yeah. I kept calling you poor. Yeah.
Well, could a poor person spend $50?
I don't think so. It's probably spent it on scratchy lotto tickets, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. Well,
Krem showed up in a ratty jacket enough times, and Luke just roasted him for it. Yeah, and eventually he shows up in like an obviously very expensive jacket.
The one new jacket that I own, and it's like, well, la-dee-da, look who just walked in.
But then you wear it too many times, where then I was just calling you jacket, and then it sort of
new jacket guy.
Bully gets way worse. Way worse.
Immediately making fun of you for having too expensive of a jacket.
Oh,
You
Mr.
went too
Two
far
Jacket.
the other way, my man.
Sorry for fucking the audio up earlier, though. I'm saying, well, I can't hear you guys.
No, that's
so our voices were coming out through the microphone. That is so weird that mics do that.
It's got a headphone jack output to like see what your
Mine
own
has that
are.
too. I do that shit. Yeah,
and so the Discord default audio was through the microphone, which is like, okay, the computer thought I was plugging my own shit into I don't know, whatever. Anyways, I really wanted to double back to this whole Mad Max thing because I just love Mad Max so fucking much.
Please.
And Luke, I'm on the exact same page as you for Anya Taylor-Joy. Is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't really know what her whole deal is. I'm scared of her. I'm afraid of new things. So when she is introduced to the universe, that's when
why do we like her so much? I don't. You know, here's what it is. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think she has the riz.
She ain't got it. She ain't got the juice.
Let's see. What was she in? I do know that. Okay, so I know people loved The Menu. I did not love The Menu.
No.
And I didn't think she was. I didn't think she brought anything special to it either. Is that
her number one title so far?
Oh, I'm looking at it. Okay,
Queen's
so she
Gambit.
was
Queen's Gambit, right? The Witch. She's good in The Witch. She's good
I
when
never
she's
watched
playing
Queen's Gambit.
a fucked up white person who like is crazy and from some fucked up place. But Last Night in Soho, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I mean, she did not have it.
I did not like Last Night in Soho. But I loved The Northman. I loved The Northman. That shit was awesome.
I was in the minority. I hated The Northman so much. I turned it off. I'm sorry.
Really? I liked it. I thought it was fun. I like when
The Northman and The Green Knight, I was in the huge minority of just saying these suck. I hate them. I'm sorry.
I like when he came on the rag.
I had a good time.
Crazy.
I had a good time watching both of those.
Into it.
You didn't see him come on the rag
if I did, it didn't lodge itself.
Green
in my
Knight.
brain.
I couldn't believe that shit. I really couldn't believe that. I never thought they'd show a guy come on a rag in a movie.
Couldn't see it because I was rolling my eyes too hard. I couldn't see that scene. I guess.
Dude, come on, man, you missed it. Yeah, The Witch is awesome. It was a lot of cum.
You're actually allowed to show a dick coming if it's just on a rag.
As long as it's just a rag.
As long as it's just on a rag, you're allowed to show it.
The NC-17 guy, he's like erasing his thing when he sees it's just a rag.
You can't. Well, it's that you can't show the penis, but you can show the cum shoot. You can see the cum shot hitting the rag. So as long as like you don't know, you have the plausible deniability.
It's in the air, and it's like, is it going to be on a person or a rag? This is really going to fuck the rating up.
Yeah.
But in Furiosa, she's supposed to be like
putting somebody in a green screen outfit and being like, we might have to wipe you from this scene.
Depending on how the rest of this goes,
if the cum gets on you, we might have to remove you from it.
But Furiosa is supposed to be like the voice of reason, so she can't be like a fucked up crazy person, can't she?
I don't think of her necessarily as a voice of reason. She's like all. What do you mean? She's just like
that is kind of a weird characterization.
Yeah, defend that. What do you mean? She's not like the voice of reason to Mad Max's crazy guy. Like, what do you?
Well, no, Furiosa is like she like has the big plan and stuff, and like does the right thing in like trying to save the people, right?
Yeah. I would say if my 1 second analysis of this is right, it really seems to me like in Mad Max movies, people are more responding to their situations and their scenarios than they are like driven by character stuff.
Yeah.
I think. Right? Doesn't it seem sort of more like?
I guess maybe I just can't imagine anything beyond what I've already been shown.
I mean, I get why. I mean, it's if it was anyone but George Miller doing it, I'd be like, this movie is gonna suck. But I do trust him. I do think that Max, as the movies goes on, becomes this weird like. I mean, especially like kind of from the third one on, where you're just like he just kind of like gets into like crazy situations, and I like that. That's what his character becomes like. And he's here, and well, he's good at driving stuff, but we don't really know what his whole deal is. And he's just kind of sort of help out, just like a sort of wandering guy. I love that.
What if a quiet pimp got into some trials and tribulations?
Mm-hmm. Yep, like a damn samurai.
Yup.
Yeah. They don't need to get Mel back in the mix. I don't think Tom Hardy.
I think he's good. I think Tom's good. I think Tom's the new one probably. So
yeah.
Oh my God, y'all seen what's the movie called? I've seen the trailer for it now like 3 times, but in front of other movies. But the Tom Hardy movie, he's doing another movie where we talk like this or whatever. Like he has the weirdest accent in it.
Is it the one where he's like the
twins?
The twins? Yeah.
No, it's the one where he's in a biker gang. It's called. I think it's.
Oh yeah, with the guy from the Bear. Rider. I really wanted to see that shit, but I think it was maybe not supposed to be good. Did you see it?
Like a new agent,
I didn't see it. It's really funny to me because every time the trailer starts, I go, "Oh, I forgot." And again, I've seen it in front of like 3 movies I've gone to see, and it starts, and I go, "Oh, I forgot about this fucking thing." And then Tom Hardy says something like, "Well, what are we?" Like he's talking like an old-timey guy.
The most unbelievable accent you've ever heard. And it's like,
he
damn,
goes
I gotta
fuck
see
off.
that.
He talks like like his voice is coming out of a wax cylinder in the trailer, and you're like, "What the fuck?" And then it gets to it goes through this whole like Heartbreaker is playing and all this like epic fucking
awesome.
like montage of Scorsese-esque shit is happening, and then it gets to the end and it goes every time the title comes up, The Bike Riders, and I start laughing really hard because
the cool guys
after all that. The dudes who invented riding bikes,
the Bike Riders.
60-year-old men sitting up in their seat when they see that and going, okay, shit.
Yeah, it feels very Ford versus Ferrari, where I was like, oh, that's a movie to bring your dad to on Christmas, so you like have something to do and talk about. You know what I mean?
It's Sons of Anarchy coded for real.
Yeah. All right, well, Crum, I'm gonna let you go because we got to get to the segment. But thank you for calling in.
Segment.
Great mic tone.
Great mic. Congrats, man. Seriously, congrats.
Nice work.
That's awesome. It's awesome to see the program is working. The bullying is working. A man spent money. All right. Well, we're going to do a little segment here. This is segment time. And you should be able to see this. So there's the segment worm isn't working. Well, we'll get that back up. Now, how do you fix these guys' organs? So I found a bunch of organs online, the instrument,
right.
And I kind of want to just get your expertise on this motherfucker and say, how would you approach this bastard of a machine? You know?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into it then.
Let's see. Should I be watching? Here's the question: should I be watching the prompts on the stream
getting?
I'm not getting the feed that has the graphic that you've got up on the video.
We'll change that, won't we? And that's the beauty, and that's what's so cool about. That's what's so cool about being online. And you see it?
There we go.
Beautiful.
There we go. Can I ask what you got? How many?
Well, that would have been good. I'll fix it in post. Fantastic organs and how to fix them.
That's
fix them. If music be the food of rock. Wait, shit. God damn it. Hold on. If music be the food of love, rock on.
That's right.
That's good, right?
That's right. That is so good.
It's like Shakespeare, but we made it for the kids. Okay,
Shakespeare, but he's wearing a leather jacket.
Yes, dude. You ever see that picture? I don't know why you would have. It's just like it was in my house growing up, but it was my parents it was like a thing from like the New Yorker where Shakespeare had like one earring in and sunglasses and was smoking a doobie.
Oh yeah.
And it was, it was cool. No way around it. All right. You ever see that picture of my mom? All right, here we go. How to fix these guys. Let's go. Number 1. Look at this busted ass motherfucker. How the fuck would you go about fixing this dude?
Well, I'm not seeing it yet.
Ah, shit. All right, hold on. No one is. Yeah. And that's why it's great because you cut this part out when I cut the clips. No one knows that it went like this. You know what I mean?
You know what? I think for the sake of clips, you gotta go ahead and give me that full, like first time energy. On that read again.
No, I definitely will.
Okay.
I'm gonna come in hot, and honestly, if anything, this is kind of an amazing chance to like kind of get to redo. Something. You know what I mean? Like,
let's just keep doing the segment until we get it. Like until it's just. hitting every single beat of it.
Wait, what the fuck? What the beep? And that's what's great about being on Twitch. You know, no one can get mad at you. They go, oh, you know what? It's free, dude. So I can spend as much time over here not on the screen doing whatever the fuck I want. This ain't TV, son. This is just a guy in his garage. What do you want from me?
Yep.
No, and that's right. There we go. All right. Now, ladies. Oh my God, it's not working. Okay, hold on. I got an alternative. Oh my God.
Ew, I love the 12U yup. That's really good.
Yup. All right, hold on. Now how Let's see if I can do sort of banter between us while I'm obviously also fixing a technical issue and like not.
Okay.
Now so growing up in Louisville, is that where you grew up?
That is where I grew up. Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
What the fuck was that like?
Ooh, wow. It was crazy. It was crazy, Luke. Yeah. It was a totally different time. We were all first learning how to ride motorbikes around.
Right.
I don't know what
They all,
it was
have
like.
Those crazy accents too, huh?
Yeah, we all have crazy accents. We have crazy outdated accents here in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
So I grew up. I was born in Louisville and then grew up for the first 7 years of my life in southern Indiana, which is like a little different than
real shithole Indiana. I mean, I just gotta be honest with you. I lived in the Midwest for much of my life, in college.
It's not it.
Don't care for Indiana.
I went to college in Indiana. I don't care for it up there either.
What if they made Ohio even shittier? That's kind of how I always felt about Indiana.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Ohio's a little weird too. Parts of Ohio are pretty strange, but
I mean, yeah, it's bad. I mean, I can't believe
the good state we're comparing everything to is really the question. Like, what is one of these things where
Midwestern states? I mean, there's parts of Michigan that are nice, but no, I'm more of a coastal guy, so it's got to be California and New York City, baby, or I basically don't give a fuck. I don't give a.
I mean, Kentucky to me is a very beautiful state that's like the right size and the right vibe for me in general.
I like it. It's cool.
Except for the fact that 80% of everybody here is a psycho and our entire government is psychotic and stuff. So yeah, I mean that part of it's bad.
Well, how I grew up in Washington D.C. and I can tell you, same thing out there. These freaking jokers in the White House, if you don't catch my drift. I actually think the people in Kentucky got it right. Kidding. Okay, here we go.
They're certainly more real. They're certainly more real. If we can just put a button on that, they're more real than the people out in DC for sure. Right? Yeah. Like even the crazy ones.
Well,
wow. I really.
You're telling me my mom isn't real? You're telling me my dad isn't real, dude? I mean, what am I supposed to do with that, man?
They are not real. Your parents are a simulation.
Damn it.
They were hired like the Truman Show to pretend to raise you.
Shit, hey, brother, I wish. You know what I mean? If they would have spent a little more time at it. All right, how do you fix these guys? Organs. Now, let's take this from the top. Now, how you used to fix organs? Is that correct?
That is correct, Luke. Yes.
Well, I thought tonight it might be fun for our segment. What if we pulled up a bunch of images of organs and you could kind of tell me and the audience how the fuck you would fix these fuckers? Does that sound good?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's get into it. All right, organ number 1. I mean, this thing is fucked as shit. What the fuck would you do to this thing, man? Woo! Looks like somebody damn took a kerosene to it.
Yeah, that one looks like it's been in a fire.
What did you do?
Well, all right. So the first question you got to ask is, did the fire burn the whole church or did somebody just like drop a cigarette in the pedal board and burn the console down. Because I tell you what, if you've only lost the console, buy a new console. Or if the rest of the organ's fine, like the bulk of the cost of the organ is still intact, like the bulk of the valuable part of the organ, if any part of of a pipe organ is valuable. This is what you're showing me here is a burnt up console, which is, I mean, basically like one piece that could be replaced.
Damn.
That's like you know how car radios have that detachable face?
Yeah.
That's like if you were to just lose the face, which I guess is like bad because it wouldn't work anymore at all. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like that's one part of it.
This is just the like in the sense of this is the mouse and keyboard of the computer. Like this isn't the
Okay, that's a better, absolutely better analogy right there.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Right, because what you said about the radio would be like almost if you drove using the knobs on the radio and the volume. Yeah. But yes, I understand. Well, this is damn. I kind of thought this was going to be a complete bullshit thing where I just show you a bunch of dumbass images, but that was actually an extremely thoughtful answer that it makes total sense, and I learned something. So there you go, folks.
Well, I mean, and I'll tell you, it is very common that for people to think that the organ is the console, like that is the instrument, right?
Yeah.
The console is the keyboard, and then the organ is like usually in a completely different room.
Really?
Somewhere
else.
You
see those pipes?
But the pipes are in front of. Usually, they're in front of a room that contains a bunch more pipes.
I guess I didn't even realize that how big they are.
They're huge.
I'm glad. You know what? I originally the subject of the stream was going to be if music be the food of love, rock on. But instead we're going
or the rock of love. If rock be the music of love,
rock of love, featuring Bret Michaels. But instead we're learning something, which is incredible. It's pipe night. It is pipe night. All right, here we go. Number 2.
Well, so far it's console night, but okay.
Console night. Well. Help! Broken pedal board! I mean, this guy looks like he's a fish out of fucking water. One of the goddamn impractical jokers got in your goddamn church. What the fuck do you do to help this guy?
Where did you get this?
You know what? I searched messed up organ, and this is just one of the images I found.
This is like on somebody's Facebook page. This is like the organist for a church has a Facebook page and makes their own memes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny. All right, so broken pedal board. It looks like it. I mean, he's holding it's hard for me to see. He's holding like one of the pedals.
Yes, I believe so. He's kind of holding it up, maybe as if he's putting it back down to fix it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this I think is gonna. This I think is gonna be a pretty easy, straightforward fix because it looks like he just snapped one of his pedals off, and in that case you just order a replacement of that part and you just mount it. Hopefully if the spring snapped, you have a little like spring that they're screwed into at the bottom, and you replace whatever part is broken. Not a big deal. And if it's an American organ, which it looks like it is, they're all standardized. The pedals are all standardized.
So this is kind of, I mean, you might call this in the organ industry, like this is almost alarmist literature. Like it's making it seem like it's a bigger deal than it is.
I would say that's the font is like so extreme for what has happened, which is
as a layman, I saw this. I was like, well, this is going to be rich because this must be this is fucked up. I mean, help is the huge letters is basically half the screen.
Well, you know what? It's funny. Here's one thing. The best thing you could probably break on the console is the pedal board or one of the pedals, because those are standard. You can order a replacement of them pretty easily. They are easy to install. The thing is with the keys, if it's an old key, it's going to have ivory on it. You can't replace the ivory. Yeah. Or if it's a newer one, it'll have bone, and those are hard to match. So if you break a key, that's a lot more complicated than breaking a pedal.
Because the pedal's just a big wood, basically rod, essentially.
Yeah, cool. It's just like it's a beveled strip of wood.
I'm surprised they haven't made like artificial ivory. I guess I guess that's plastic, but it's surprising.
There's a lot of plastic out there on organs. There's a lot of plastic ivory, and then but bone is the one that sort of gets you closest to.
And listen, I'm not saying it's good we killed all those elephants, but goddamn, they made beautiful music, didn't they? I mean, Jesus Christ. All right, here we go.
Hell, if I'm an elephant, I want my ivory to be making beautiful music instead of just rotting in the ground. Come on.
What I never understood is, so they kill the elephants to get the ivory, but like, why wouldn't you just like cut the tusks off and let them regrow? Which I know is awful. Like, I know that was probably also awful for the elephant, but wouldn't that be like good? I guess maybe holding down an elephant and getting its ivory is. They don't regrow them.
I think that people do cut the ivories or do cut the tusks off of elephants to get the ivory without killing the elephant. I do think that happens.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times the way it happens is the poachers kill the elephant first and then get it. But yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Any way that it happens, I understand it to be very bad.
Okay, so we can't have ivory anymore. Got it. Elephant tusks are actually teeth that extend beyond their mouths. They're connected to the skull and have nerve endings just like our own teeth. When the tusk gets broken, damaged, or removed, it stays that way. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, I know, Jacob. You want to put everyone in a mass grave so we can have fossil fuels. Yeah, but we got to be thinking about the present. All right, next one. Now look at this busted ass.
You got a real mass graves guy in your chat.
Yeah, that's why mass graves guy is an important member of this community. So
wow, Luke, you have really you've given me quite the challenge with this one. Look at that.
Fucked. It's fucked, right?
Yeah, that is pretty bad.
This is more than just a console. I mean, I got to imagine those big pipes where you're hitting the core of the fucker.
Yeah, I mean a lot of times so what's fallen down there, the golden pipes or sort of brassy looking pipes at the front, those are the facade pipes, and usually those are either all dummy pipes, like they don't speak, or some of them are dummy pipes and some of them do speak, right? So it depends on how they built the thing and what they're what they needed. Sometimes they'll just stick an organ back there and stick some dummy pipes in front of it.
Because you don't want to see the big shitty metal pipes.
Yeah, you don't want to see. Yeah, exactly. The unpolished, like bronzed stuff.
Yeah. So is it all bronze? Are they always bronze?
I mean, they're what they're usually are, and what I would bet those is they are some combination of lead and tin. And then they have a gold spray on them, and then a lacquer spray on top of that.
Interesting.
So though some old ones, that looks pretty old. It might be like this weird paint that's milk based, milk paint.
And so I gotta ask, are you worried that you are kind of around a bunch of lead pipes for a good portion of your life?
That was something that I thought about a lot, that people talked about a lot, because I was around lead all the time.
Yeah.
I went and worked with lead and soldered pieces of lead together and shaved pieces of lead, and like when you're voicing the pipes, you're like sticking your fingers in like a old metal thing made of lead.
Yeah.
And the only thing I'll say is that like it really, if old organ, there are a lot of old organ guys out there. Like a lot, like I don't know of. It doesn't seem like an industry where everybody dies of brain disease or whatever lead does to you.
Okay. Well, I'm glad.
But yeah, I would say like I would say mainly we're looking at a facade issue here.
Okay.
And that could be simply building a new support for like a rack for the pipes.
But if it's just the gold pipes that are presumably facade pipes, this is actually the organ itself is intact.
Could be, yes. I don't know. It's unclear to me what happened here, but
I can tell you what happened.
Okay.
I found this from a Facebook group. I think a bunch of teenagers broke into the church and really busted the fuck out the organ.
Oh shit!
So, unfortunately,
damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's funny when you do that. And you'll hear about that happening because, like, there are churches everywhere, right? Like, that's a funny thing about pipe organs is people don't think about them very much, but there's like 2 on your street right now
Yeah.
because there's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
bunch
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
churches
Yeah.
everywhere. And so you hear about like kids breaking into churches and fucking up organs all the time. Uh, but like what they're doing, it's hard to get them insured. It's hard to know their value because
Mm.
pipe organs don't have an intrinsic value because it would cost more uh to remove that, to like extract just the parts of the organ would
Yeah.
cost more than the organ is worth. So
Yeah.
they don't get appraised for any money at all. So it's like, it's a especially shitty thing to vandalize. Like if
So
you
you
care
can't.
about whether,
So basically, you can't take an insurance policy out on it because there's no intrinsic.
I
uh,
think,
Yeah.
I think it's difficult to do. Like I mean, we would get people calling us up at the shop and I never handled this,
Uh-huh.
but we would get people calling us up at the shop asking, hey, you service our organ. Can you tell us how much it's worth? And the answer was always like, it's not nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. There's no way you could sell it. Like, you know what? You couldn't buy because yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's sort of built.
can't-
It's sort of like kind of what you're describing. It's like it's basically part of the building. It'd be like I'm trying to sell a room. Yeah. Interesting.
Exactly. And churches that want to sell their organ, unless it's like particularly historic or that
Yeah.
you have an interested buyer for some reason. But if you're just out there trying to sell an organ like real estate, it like what ends up happening is they end up having to pay someone to come and take it out, like instead of getting money for it.
Yeah. 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 Interesting. Okay. Shit. I mean, I love this, man. I literally legitimately am learning a lot about a thing I've looked at countless times in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Watching those fucking players. All right, here we go. Next one. Now this one didn't look so bad.
I'm the bottom of it is obscured by my own.
It's
self.
it's really. I mean, this one here. I think I know how to fix this one. You just got to get those chairs
Just now
out of the way.
noticing this is an Alamy image, but
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I couldn't pay for that. It was a pretty hefty, I mean, what can you tell us about this organ? I think the way to fix this would probably there just seems to be a bunch of chairs in the way, as far as I can tell. So that seems like maybe something even a layman could fix, but.
Yeah, that would be something if they said, "Hey, can you fix our organ? It's got all these chairs in the way." I would say that our guild like doesn't let us do that. That doesn't let us move chairs.
Interesting. So it's like Teamsters kind of like you can only
right.
Yeah. You can touch.
Sorry, we're not allowed
pipes,
to do we're not allowed to do lighting, AC power. We're not allowed to do, and we're not allowed to move your choir chairs for you.
Damn. And then I mean, a lot of these churches and the way the religion, I mean, you know that they're trying to get you at every turn. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Okay.
Now this one I thought, well, what the hell do we do here?
That is an upright piano, right? I think your first problem is you're going to want to move the upright piano and put an organ there.
That's not an organ.
We're going to discuss. That's not an organ. That's an upright piano. But it looks
when
like,
I searched messed up organs on Google, this is what I
Sure.
got, man.
Yeah. All right. So I'm curious. I'd like to hear your description of what you think.
Well, I mean, it kind of looks like maybe they left it outside too long, and it seems like maybe a bunch of plants. Seems like maybe the weeds got in. It was sort of the nature took its course, as it were.
Well, yeah. It appears that they left it outside for so long that not only did a tree grow through it, but someone cut the tree down and made a little structure out of the tree. A new civilization was born inside this upright piano.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I guess the answer is how do we destroy that civilization and get to playing Maple Leaf Rag again on this fucker?
All right. How do we get back to... All right. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to raise the structure that the Keebler elves are living in or whatever.
All right. How?
We're gonna
Piece by piece, fire, water. I mean, what would you
I'm
use?
gonna say we don't want to use fire, not
right.
just because there's wood in the mechanics of the piano,
Sure.
but also because fire is gonna upset your soundboard in the piano.
Okay.
Like that's gonna mess up it's gonna mess up everything.
Okay.
Right. So you're gonna want to avoid fire. What you're gonna want to do is take take those take those logs and wooden things out of there.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
You don't need those.
I think maybe we want to even extract the entire soundboard there.
And what is the soundboard? What is that?
Oh, that's it's a huge, basically what you're looking at. That's kind of, that's metal. That's a little bronze metal. That is the soundboard of the piano. And it's basically what all of the strings are mounted to. And it's what resonates and makes it sound like a piano.
Okay.
But it really looks like you're going to need to replace every key, every hammer, every mute. So
it's going to take a lot of elephants, man. That's going to take a lot of elephant death, isn't it?
Now I have not worked on pianos much myself. I've tuned exactly one piano, and that's not enough to say that you have really tuned a piano.
Is
right?
it?
Like,
now that's interesting.
You're not that good at that point.
Could you do it though, with your knowledge of organs, or is it different enough where it's not really the same scale? Tuning
a piano and an organ are different, vastly different.
Interesting.
Like hugely different. There's a real physicality to tuning a piano where you're not just like tightening, like if you've tuned a guitar before, maybe you've done that. Like you tune a guitar, you just pull the string taut until it's like the right tune, until it's playing the right pitch.
Yeah.
On a piano, you got to pull it to that pitch, and then you got to relax the right, like, so that the string relaxes and doesn't I don't know. It's some weird thing where you got to get really used to this one like motion.
Like you over tighten because then it will relax into the note you want. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So the Go Off Cake said, Howell came over the other day and helped me tune my skin flute.
Yes, I did. JF's skin flute was really, really out of tune.
And
really
you can tune skin flutes. It's just pianos.
I can tune skin flutes. Yeah, well, that's easy. I mean, that's because you're not even going for like a particular pitch.
Yeah.
You're just trying to reinflate the thing that JF flattened with like a meat tenderizer.
Yeah.
So it's really just about getting down there, putting your lips on the thing, and blowing until it looks like a dick again.
That's what's so cool about it, is that it has this elasticity where it can be flattened down, where it basically looks like a pancake and you see the marks from the meat tenderizer, so it looks like a big waffle. And then just putting your lips on it and blowing makes it pop up like a balloon animal back to the shape it should be.
I mean, the human body is really incredible, really incredible. And the dick especially, I would put it among the most incredible like features of the human body.
What other part could be hard and soft, man? You ain't seeing teeth do that shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
This could be as hard as a fucking rock, and then as supple as as this kid in high school I knew used to do, where he'd wrap his dick around his wrist and ask you what time it was, and I always thought that was amazing.
I've done that before.
Yeah, it's a great sort of classic prank. Yeah,
it's a fun hanging out with the guys. Wrap your dick around your wrist.
Yep, and say, what time is it? And then I think you'd say like dick o'clock or something. I'm really, Q for Howell. What properties of a lead tin alloy make it suitable for organ pipes? Whoa, yo!
Here we go. Rosie I think she wants to go out, so she's bugging me right now.
Gotcha.
But we're gonna just put her up on my lap for the.
You could take. I mean, we could take her. You could go out and take her out.
Well, let's finish what we're talking about.
All right.
What was the What was the question about?
What about a lead tin alloy makes it good for organ pipes?
Oh, okay. Yeah, lead tin alloy. Tin is stiff but brittle, and lead is heavy and malleable and soft.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like a dick. You want your pipes to be hard and soft,
right?
Like a dick,
right?
So Yeah, basically, if the right combination of that is soft enough to where you can cut it into shapes and shape it, and also you need to be able to move the pieces of the mouth around to get different timbres out of it and tones out of it. So you go for a lead. You go for it's lead and tin are a good combination of things to give you those qualities.
And you put your mouth around it to make different noises. I mean, it really is a dick, huh? Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But the tin gives it the strength to stand up sometimes, 64 feet tall, 16 feet tall.
Do they still use lead, but they just aren't telling us, so they're better at hiding it? I mean, it's such a great mineral. You don't really want to waste it. Metal, rather.
Do they still use what?
They still using lead and shit, and we're just sort of like not privy? I mean, what you wouldn't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater a bit, huh?
I think they're probably still using it in some way for some things. Like, when you work on pipe organs, you're allowed to use lead because there's no other way to do it. And
you just can't make a thing that big. Yeah.
I know that's true of stained glass as well. Like you can't make stained glass without lead because you need to be able to shape the metal.
Yeah.
So like certain industries are allowed to use lead. I think they just wanted to get it out of the paint, right? I mean,
and the pipe. Well, Washington D.C., where I grew up, it was a whole thing where like when I was like 5 or 6, they're like, "Hey, you gotta start using a Brita because every single pipe in the city has lead in it," and they're still fixing it to this day.
That would be the kind of thing where I'm like, does Brita actually even like take lead out of
it's
water?
Like probably not. No. Yeah. All right, I think we got one or two more here. It's funny, they sent everyone in the city like a mini Brita that would like for a whole family, but it was like the size of like one glass of water, and it really very, very funny stuff done by the great DC government. Now this is kind of interesting.
That is so funny to send for a municipality to send a Brita to everyone.
It's almost like completely admitting in real time how incapable they were as a local government by the fact they were sending you just a piece of plastic saying like, yeah, don't drink any of the water anymore. Use this thing that you'll have to replace. Yeah. Yeah. So this is kind of an interesting image I'd like you to take a look at, Howell.
Flip Shelton says they have a lead one that takes forever to filter. So, okay. So you can buy a special lead Brita.
Yeah, they weren't sending us that shit.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. What do we got in this?
Well, let's take a look here. I mean, this is sort of the visage of a beautiful woman, maybe in mourning.
I see.
Looks mahogany.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess this one, I don't know. I mean, the problem is you wish it was real, and it's unfortunately the computer made it. But I was just wondering if I could get your reactions to this image.
Well, I think it's she's in a nun's habit, right? What is the thing?
I can't really. I thought she was holding flowers, but now that I'm looking at it, it seems to just be sort of like an amorphous blob.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what the chicken-looking thing is. She appears to be bringing a beheaded chicken to the organ.
Yeah.
Just getting just getting my thoughts on this.
Just kind of do you like the instrument? I mean, do you like the way
the instrument looks cool. It's a traditional style. You can tell from the pedal board that it's like more of the old tracker European style of pedals where where they go straight instead of fanning out the way that the American pedal boards do.
Sure.
And it looks like an old-fashioned tracker style. It's obviously a Gothic style church.
And the woman is sort of Gothic as well. I mean, with the habit.
There's something very goth about wearing a habit, except when you're in a church, maybe it's not goth. Maybe it's because you're wearing it. Maybe it's because she's a nun.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not like a goth thing.
She's either a goth baddie or a nun. And I mean, that's sort of like, I think all great art can sort of, kind of is on the eye of the beholder. You're never quite sure.
That is so true.
Until you. So true.
She's either a goth baddie or God's baddie.
God's cool little dude. All right. Oh, yeah. This is sort of the fun bonus one. I didn't want to show the image because it was too sad, but organ. What if there was organ failure, but they called your ass? And the fuck would you do, man, if you had to deal with someone's liver getting all fucked up and crazy, something like that.
You had to go with liver, huh? What would I do with somebody's
Well,
liver?
That feels like the thing that fails the most, you know?
Let's see. Well, we're gonna want to so okay, but yeah, that is something that that fails on a lot of people.
Yeah, from drinking most of the time.
I think first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to find out about the liver. Can you how long can you go without it?
Yeah.
Can the other organs kind of kick in and work a little harder to do sort of what the liver was doing? We're going to want to get that liver out of there real fast. Maybe soak it in some warm water for a couple days.
To fix their broken liver, you just kind of soak it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like that could
get the
do
toxins
something.
out.
Yeah, like I'm just thinking. Okay, so here's what would I do if? All right, I'm trying to think of an equivalent thing to what an organ does. It would be like a filter going out on something.
Yes.
And you would just you'd want to replace the filter. So maybe we need to replace the liver. And maybe there's a mechanical, maybe there's a new technology that could replace the liver now.
Kind of like,
know?
They can grow it in a petri dish. I mean, like they do with kids sometimes.
Or just like, but just like a plastic liver that you can stick in there. That
interesting. Sort of like when they give you, yeah. Toss a Brita filter in there. That's a good idea, Dog's Brain.
Does Brita have a liver? Do they have a liver that they? Does Brita have a liver that they sell that you can put inside the human body?
A briver.
Brita liver. Brita. You know what they would call it? I'm sure they would come up with some great name for it. Maybe they would call it like the river. You know, the Brita.
Because they're kind of going through
liver.
They're kind of going through. Well, I mean, that's been the segment, Howell. Thank you for. Thank you so much. Like a lot of these segments, well, they usually go out with a whimper instead of a bang, and that's sort of the beauty of the segment portion of the show. Now, how is your dog doing? Does she need to piss and shit really bad?
Well, she's not whimpering. You said go out with a whimper. She definitely wants to go out, but she's not whimpering yet. So,
okay. Well, do you want to do? I mean, do you want to go till 9 my time, like 20 more minutes? Is that cool, or do you need to take?
That's
okay,
fine.
Cool. Okay, great. I got to be honest. I have to go piss. Can I leave you here while I step outside and go piss in my yard?
Do you have a BRB screen? Because I'll just let her out as well if you're going to do that.
I think I do. Yeah, let's be right back. All right, we're taking a short piss break. We'll be back.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Right
Perfect. after our bio break. Someone said that in the chat. I haven't heard that one before. That's a good way to describe it. I just call it pissing myself and shitting, but that's
bio
just
break.
Bio break.
Like
Alonzo Hamburger Jones is an American writer
biology?
and catchphrase comedian, best known for his cowboy hat and frequent use of the word hamburger. There you go. How's the dog?
Rosie's great.
Yeah.
Rosie's great. She ran right out.
Beagle?
She ran right out. She peed. She came right back in.
Love it.
I mean, it was all business. I love that.
No pleasure. How old is she?
Rosie will be 2 this year. She's still a puppy.
Wow, she's really young.
Yeah.
Beagles are funny because I feel like beagles are a dog that look like they could be 2 or 15, and they just kind of always look like that. You know what I mean? We're like a lab, you can like see like this is an old lab, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. I mean, Danny will be 9 this year, my older beagle, and he still looks like a puppy. So, and people always ask if he's a puppy, but well, they don't ask it as much anymore because he's like standing next to a puppy now.
Right. They can see it. They have that thing. Well, I think we got another call in the motherfucking queue. If you want to, let's do this shit.
Let's do it.
Jake, are you there? Jake, you're on. You're on the line.
Luke.
Hello?
Al, hello?
Hello.
Am I coming through?
You're coming through loud and clear.
Hello, Luke. Toot Toot Howell. It's good friend Jake.
Welcome,
Jake. Hey, Jake. How's it
How are
going?
you?
I'm doing okay, thank you. You know, earlier on in the show, Luke, you asked, the chat what they did with all the why there's not all these bodies everywhere, all these graveyards,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I know as to why is that in Europe, especially in Catholic countries,
Sure.
when graveyards got too big, they would dig up the old bones and put them in something called an ossuary.
Yep.
And there are these like weird, like one of them is the catacombs of Paris. This is like a big example.
Wow.
It houses like 6 million like people's bodies.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so they're very common all across Europe, all across the Catholic countries and like Italy and stuff like that. And there's some really weird ones. Like there's this place in Czechia that like what they did is they like use it to decorate this big church, and they made these like crazy wall decorations and chandeliers of like human skulls and bone. That's crazy.
So cool. You know what's funny is that's such a word that I've heard in video games and shit my entire life, like ossuary, where it's like an evil level, and I had no idea what the fuck it was, and that's like, oh yeah, it's always the skeleton level.
Yeah, that's some shit from like Game of Thrones you hear about. Yeah,
I believe it's one of the levels in. Is it in No, not in Hades, and I don't remember the name of the game. Death by. Doesn't matter. Damn, that's cool. Wow, that's a legitimate. That's a Dead Cells. Yes, that's a really interesting and legitimate answer to that question. So thank you, Jake. I do really appreciate that.
Yeah, there's probably just
also
billions of bones out there that are just decorating. I don't know, people's homes, churches, things like that.
I could build this damn studio out of bones. Wish I could build that out of ivory, honestly. I have some ivory. I'm not supposed to, but I got it.
I'd like to buy some bones.
I'd like to buy some bones.
Bones. Let me just see how much bones are going.
How much are bones? Days. I got some ivory, but it was like, here's why I have the ivory. Okay, so it's not like.
Ooh.
Okay, but it's gonna seem like it's bad.
Ivory. Okay.
Okay, but here's why. Here's why.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's grandma passed away a few years ago, and she had all these cool figures from Japan from the 1800s that were carved out of ivory, and I thought they were really cool. So they were like, "You can have them," but Katie really doesn't like me putting it up because she says you can't really be showing people you have ivory in your house. And I'm curious what you guys think about this, because to me it's like, yeah, but this is like so. It's not like I like went to a market and was like, I'm buying fucking ivory, right?
I think there is like, I mean, I don't know any of this, how any of this type of shit. By the way, the dogs are going to start acting up. Rosie's being a bug. But the shut up.
You just went to the bathroom, dog.
I don't know how I do know that there's some way that you can get in trouble if you're traveling with ivory or something like that, even if you didn't get it yourself or whatever.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know if you walk into someone's home and they have an ancient ivory figurine. I don't know if that's bad. I don't know if that's
what I'm saying. She's like, we can't show that to people that we have that, and she like makes me hide them. I'm like, they're so cool. They're like these beautiful, like sort of little, they're like all little characters. They're basically little toys. Listen,
it is cool, and I would like to see them.
You want to see them, right? I'm telling you about this. You say, I gotta see this shit, huh?
Surplus value theory says kind of like bald eagle feathers, still not legal to possess. Is that? I mean, I don't think that could be true of ivory, since there are still so many. Like there are ivory key pianos out there still. There are.
My grandma has one.
There's ivory all over the place.
But she has one. But you can't replace an ivory key piano because you can't get the ivory, or is there like a black? I mean, obviously there's a black market for it, but
I think there are like. I remember hearing at some point when someone was trying to get a manual like recovered that it was something about how like the US had allowed a certain amount of old ivory to come in or something like that.
Interesting.
There was like some weird like limited amount of some ivory that was old. I don't remember any of the specifics of the story, but there might be some kind of resource allocation going.
Someone's saying new ivory is illegal, the old heirloom stuff is legal. That would make sense,
Okay.
Ivory, man. What a time.
Yeah.
What a time. Wasn't that your nickname in college, Old Ivory? Huh.
What does that one mean?
Yeah, I guess I don't really get that.
Hey, Golf King, speak on that.
Yeah, speak on that. Because is that because Jesse, I got you with your old nickname in college was like the Night Stalker or something a few weeks ago? Because that made sense. I'm saying, how old's an old cracker? Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, okay. So talking about me, I'm an old cracker. Yeah.
So Twitch Terms of Service doesn't condone that kind of language from Go Off Kings. Actually, that's actually a bannable offense to use that kind of language.
Yeah,
wow.
I don't like to see two guys from a southern state voting the way you do, calling each other crackers. I got to be honest about that. That doesn't sit right exactly with me.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, think about if you were to ban the Go Off Kings or get them into trouble. Oh boy, it'd be it'd be a shame if something bad were to happen to the Go Off Kings. Am I right?
Oh, Hassan isn't allowed to say cracker, but the Go Off Kings are. Huh, that's kind of a weird double standard, don't you think, chat? Why don't we get that shit clipped and sent, brother? Sent off to the goons. What if you had sound issues like the Go Off Kings? Yeah, I don't have that, so I don't know about that shit. Luke, is your new fidget toy just cards?
JF has sounding issues with that fucked up wiener of his. Right. He's not able to do it anymore.
Well, it is quite sounded because it gets blown up so many times. The hole is so fucking huge because it's got, they talk about getting your back wall blown out. Well, his front tube got fucking blown out. How many times it's been blown up by a friend to get it working again?
I mean, got blown up by a cow, really.
The tightness of the urethra is really what makes it sounding. So if it's loose the way that JF's is, it's actually like something else. It's more like I don't know what you would call it. It's more like putting a hot dog in a bun.
Isn't the purpose of sounding to stretch that fucker out, or no?
Well, that's what I mean. It's sounding because you're stretching a tight hole, right? Whereas but JF's is not. So
right. There's kind of no point.
I thought we were sort of saying the same thing.
I think so. It's like throwing a hot dog through a hallway. It's not really sounding because it's just sort of like putting like pencil lead back in your pencil, like on the top.
Oh, that's a great way to describe. Yeah. Again, you come up with a much better analogy right away.
Well, I mean, what's beautiful though is I have yours to sort of bounce off of, and I got to see. I get. I'm punching it up, as it were.
Yeah. It's. I'm very happy to help you find the right
Thanks,
analogy
man. I
by
appreciate that.
completely failing to hit the
No,
nail.
no.
The
I
first
mean, I
time.
thought it was good. I think I just took what you did. I kind of, I saw what you did. And I said hot dog in a bun. Well, I wanted to keep the shape. You know what I mean? And I thought the pencil was good because it was the same shape as the penis urethra. And then not a square peg in a round hole. It'd be a round peg in a round hole because it has no problem going inside that urethra. Square peg in a round hole, that would kind of be more like sounding.
Well, I do think JF's urethra is square on one side because of as a lot of people in the chat have mentioned, the toenail that's up there.
There's a toenail up there? Come on now.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got a toenail on the head of the thing.
Get a life. Get a life. What are you, a fucking 10-year-old telling me that I'm bullying on the damn playground? Hey, get a life. Well, Jake, thank you for that incredible fact that was legitimately very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
About fucking graveyards.
Sure.
All right. See ya.
Have a good night, boys.
Bye.
Good night, Jake.
Luke Taylor is an absurdist internet funny man. He is also an avid ivory collector. I mean, I'm not, okay, here's my point with it. It's not like I was like going down to the fucking ivory store to pick up some ivory, but if some ivory falls into your lap, we call that, that's a mitzvah, as it were.
Yeah.
Right?
That is totally a mitzvah. And again, this is it's old. Jesus
Come
Christ.
on, man.
Come on, you two.
He's got 5 minutes. Just cool it. He'll play with you soon.
So, let's see.
Are you still Episcopalian?
I'm trying to think of something. I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not really anything.
I'm not either, but I sometimes think I'm not, but then something I've come to later in life, I'm like, well, I guess all of the morality I was taught for the first 20 years of my life was through the lens of Episcopalianism. So like, I kind of am a little bit also. Like, does that make sense?
No, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it's necessary the way that it's presented because I don't really, I feel like most people I know, whether or not they actually live by these standards, most people I know, however they were raised, do sort of believe in the same.
Yeah.
In the golden rule, which is essentially the one thing that really matters, which is just not being not hurting anybody else.
If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down.
Rule. If it's that one, specifically that one, everybody I know knows to let the yellow mellow, and that's regardless of how they were raised.
Because I don't care who you are. If you're living in California, there's a water crisis, dude. So you can let the piss lie for a couple fucking hours. It's not a big deal.
Seems like there's always a water crisis out there.
Yeah, right? Well, it is a foolish dream of a bunch of dumbass hillbillies to make a city in the middle of a desert, and we pay the price every single day. And it's been raining a lot this year, but there's absolutely no infrastructure in Los Angeles to catch rainwater in any meaningful way, so it's all completely wasted.
And it's just like running down the street. And then going
gutters,
going to another town.
Then just going, I guess, eventually back into the ocean where it's like the rainwater is so dirty it kills a bunch of fish and shit. It's a beautiful place, Los Angeles. I don't think it will exist in 100 years, probably.
Wow.
You know?
That's I mean, do you think any of California will exist in 100 years? Isn't California in danger of
maybe the Apple campus
falling into the ocean?
Make the Apple campus into some sort of super city like Cyberpunk 76, something like that would be cool.
Oh, you know what would be cool? You know what would be really cool? Would be a city where it's like if you have an iPhone, you get to live there, and everything you buy you get through the App Store. And as long as you follow the TOS of like Apple, you can live there in good standing. But then the second that you I don't know, break some rules or try to buy something outside of the Apple Store,
right,
you get
but I guess
banished from the community into kind of like a Mad Max world.
What I push back on is what would you need that wouldn't be in the Apple Store so badly? I mean, it's just, they're superior products. They've got the consumer in mind. Like, what would you need so badly? Like, at that point, if you are going to break the TOS like that, it's kind of on you, dude.
I agree with that, and I think if I were out searching for something that wasn't in the Apple Store, I think I'd be begging basically for someone to give me a bunch of malware, because that's I mean, the main thing about the Apple Store is they make sure that it's good quality stuff that you get.
And I would say, and this kind of the thing you're saying, not only again malware, you're also getting a fucking bullet through your brain, because that's the contract you sign in this beautiful city upon a hill, you know?
Oh yeah. Actually, yeah, that makes it a little bit better. When you sign up for it, when you make an account, they say if we ever banish you, your life is forfeit, and we get to shoot you in the back of the head.
You live in service of Apple, and we get to turn you into nutrients for the big Steve Jobs God machine.
Or oil. Or we put you in a mass grave. Feed you through a tube.
Yes, to bring it full circle to what Jacob wants. Yes, that's right. We're going to put you in we're going to turn you in a bunch of oil. Well, Howell, this has been an absolute treat to have you on tonight, my man. I think we really got to all the points I wanted to get to tonight. Sounding.
I'm so glad.
I mean, really, we hit it all, you know? So thank you for being here.
I think we covered life and death and everything in between, which is great.
I feel like that's the perfect weird energy tonight. That's such a crazy thing to say on someone else's stream at the end. Yeah, weird energy tonight, guys. Oh, okay.
Well, I think he meant to type that into the Pornhub search bar.
Yeah.
I think that's what he meant to do.
JF, that's what JF says to his family when he goes to bed. Everybody had weird energy tonight. Big Howell Dottie, shout out. Big Howell, a very funny streamer in his own right. Shout him out. Follow him if you aren't already. I mean, this is a great man in front of us right here, folks. This is what we have here is a great man. Howell, do you have anything to well, go on X Hamster then, dude. If you're gonna stop looking at porn just because they banned one site, then were you even really looking at porn in the first place? Howell, do you have anything to plug?
I sure do. Be sure to listen to the Big Howell and Possum podcast. Follow me here on Twitch at Big Howell Dottie. I stream Monday nights at 11 p.m. We watch game shows into the wee hours of the morning. I do a movie night with DB on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern time. This will all be Eastern time, and then Friday afternoon at 4:30 Eastern time. I watch what I call fleets, which is basically just viral stuff from Facebook and Instagram from the week.
I really like the things where you're reading those insane AI stories, and I watched it at first. I was like, did Howell write that? Like, I couldn't figure out what it was. Yeah. It was so like alien. I was like, what is this?
I have tried to write a few of them. We did a story night where I wrote like 2 of them, and it's really weird getting yourself in the headspace to write those. Yeah. They're weirdly translated or AI generated stories usually.
Right.
So the podcast, the Twitch stream, and then I'll just throw in a plug for the podcast that I work for, that I produce, called The Flophouse.
Let's go.
The long running bad movie podcast. And they're doing their Max Fun fundraising drive right now. So listen to them, listen to their pitch for supporting them as well.
Fuck yeah.
Any public fast track apps. Fast track will be back when I finish my record that I'm hoping to have finished in the next couple of months.
Fuck yeah. Wow. Well, Raiders, welcome in. We are ending. So you know what's amazing is when you raid, but then you get to even put onto another even better stream. Well, I don't want to say that. I thought this was a great stream. I don't know what Libby was doing, and I don't know if it was better or worse, but yeah.
You know let's say it. Let's support our friend Libby.
Her stream,
what she's doing right now is better than what we're doing right now.
And that's why we're stopping, because we realize there's no real fucking point to this anymore. Her energy wasn't that weird. Well, it looked kind of weird. You guys couldn't really figure out how to play that game, JF, which was kind of embarrassing. Maybe try and play the games a little before you get on the air with them. All right. Howell, thank you so much for being here. Everybody say hi to Libby. Playing Halo 2 again with Libby on Friday. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Let's end this with a kiss to Cam. Why not? Till tomorrow, Stefan will be on. He's going to teach me how to play Balatro. Well, I might end up teaching him a thing or two as well. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Let me stop the stream. No, not that one. Dude, thank you for doing the show. That was truly so fun.
I'm still on camera.